Welcome to the lesson on the coordinate grid. Introduction to the coordinate grid and plotting points. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify a coordinate grid, name the x-axis and the y-axis, locate the origin, and plot simple points using ordered pairs. This lesson is very important because it is the foundation for drawing graphs and straight lines later. But first, let's begin with a review of the number line. Whole numbers are all the basic counting numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. On the number line, we can present these as shown. So we have an infinite number of numbers, and here we've started from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. We can actually go beyond this. We can consider the negative numbers. -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. A negative number is a number whose value is always less than 0. It has a minus sign before it, as shown here. So all these numbers to the left of 0 are negative. The grid helps us describe position. It tells us where something is located. For example, we use grids in maps, on chessboards, and even when naming streets in a city. In mathematics, we use a grid to show the position of points. A coordinate grid is made of a horizontal line called the x-axis and a vertical line called the y-axis. We add a grid formed by many equally spaced lines. These lines create small squares, as shown. The horizontal line is the x-axis, and the vertical line is the y-axis. The point where the axes cross is called the origin and is denoted by 0, 0 as shown. Each axis is a number line. On the x-axis, numbers are positive to the right of 0, 0 and negative to the left of 0, 0. On the y-axis, numbers are positive above 0, 0 and negative below 0, 0. This allows us to plot points in all directions on the grid. The x-axis and the y-axis divide the grid into 4 parts called quadrants. In quadrant 1, both the x value and the y value are positive. In the other quadrants, one or both numbers are negative. For now, we will focus on understanding how the signs affect direction. A point is written using an ordered pair. written as xy. The first number tells us how far to move along the x-axis. The second number tells us how far to move along the y-axis. Always remember, across first, then up or down. Now let us plot a point with positive x and y values. For 3, 2, start at the origin. Then move 3 units to the right along the x-axis, and then move 2 units up, and finally mark the point. So we start at the origin, move 3 units right, then move 2 units up, and mark the point, as shown. Notice that this point lies to the right of the y-axis. Now let's plot a point with a negative x value. For negative 1, 3, start at the origin, move 1 unit to the left along the x-axis, then move 3 units up, and finally mark the point. So we start at the origin, move 1 unit left, move 3 units up, and finally mark the point, as shown. Next, we plot a point with a negative y value. So for 2, negative 3, we start at the origin, move 2 units to the right, then move 3 units down, and notice that the negative y values always move downwards. So let's start at the origin as shown, move 2 units right, move 3 units down, and mark the point as shown. Now let us plot a point with a negative x and y value. So for -2, -1, we start at the origin, move 2 units left, then move 1 unit down, and mark the point. So start at the origin, move 2 units left, move 1 unit down, and mark the point, as shown. This point lies to the left of the y-axis. Let's now take a look at some more examples. We're required to plot the point -8, -1. So on the grid, we go 8 across to the left, that's -8, and 1 down, that's -1, and plot the point, as shown. Now we're required to plot the point 4, 6. Again, let's travel 4 across and 6 up and plot the point, as shown. Now let's plot -10, 0. So 10 across to the left because it's a negative number, and we don't go up or down because it's 0. So minus 10, 0. Now let's plot the point 7, 6. So 7 across and 6 up, and plot the point as shown. We're now going to go through some more examples. See if you can spot where the point should go. Now pause the video and have a go at these exercises. Press play when you're ready to view the solutions. Be careful not to ignore the negative sign. A negative sign changes the direction. And also, remember not to swap the x value and the y value, and always start from the origin. So, when you're ready to view the solutions, press play. Solutions are coming up shortly. Once you can plot points correctly, including negative ones, you can join points to form a straight line. This will help you draw graphs and study equations of lines in future sessions. And finally, before we finish, do check your understanding. Can you remember how we move for a negative x value and for a negative y value? And also, how would you plot -1, 3? If you can answer these questions, you're ready to continue. This brings us to the end of this session. Do attempt the exercises in your textbook related to this topic. Thank you very much for listening.